In accordance with the Governor's Executive Order number 202.1, this meeting is being conducted via Zoom. That link has been provided to the public so that they can view the meeting, and we have confirmed that the feed is active and working. I have confirmed with Janet, our town clerk, that the meeting has been duly noticed and legal notice requirements fulfilled. Notice has been placed on the Town of Lewisboro website and included in email distributions from the town. With me on this Zoom conference meeting from the Town of Lewisboro are members of the town board. Jen Castellano, I'm not sure if she's here yet, but Jane Crimmins. She is? Okay. Jane Crimmins, Tony Gonsalves. Dan Welsh has another appointment and will probably be late. We have a quorum and can vote on any matters that come before the board. Town Attorney Anthony Millay, is he here?
Here.
Town Clerk Janet Donahue, Joel Smith, Facilities Maintenance Director. At the public comment periods, we ask that only the following persons will be permitted to speak. Residents of the Town of Lewisboro or the Katona-Lewisboro School District, owners of property in the Town of Lewisboro, employees of the Town of Lewisboro. If you want to speak at a public hearing or make a public comment, please raise your hand at the appropriate time. To do that, if you are on Zoom, put your cursor at the bottom of the window and you should see an image of people labeled participants. Click on that to get a panel on the right-hand side with icons at the bottom. You can then click raise hand. Participants who have raised their hand will show up on the host screen in the order that you raise your hand. The host will then unmute you and tell you that you have the floor. You may also have to unmute yourself if your microphone isn't active. We are also asking that your video be off during the duration of the meeting and only turned on when invited to speak. If you have dialed in on a phone, you can raise your hand to indicate you want to talk by pressing *9. We will ask people to give their name and the hamlet in which they live upon entering, and to keep their comments to 2 minutes only. Our town clerk will be keeping time and you will hear a timer at the end of the 2 minutes. If someone is disrespectful or uses profanity at this meeting, they will be asked to leave the virtual meeting just as they would be asked to leave a physical meeting. Please remember that your camera is on and profanity will not be tolerated in any form, including gestures and acronyms. Now, please stand with me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the
flag of the United States of America
and
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'm going to play games with the agenda and go directly to an update on the town park renovation and request for approval to issue an RFP for ADA accessible path at the town park. Jan, would you like to take over?
Yep, I'm getting him on, asking him to start his video and unmuting him. There he is.
Good evening, everybody.
Hi, Jan.
I am.
Hello.
Okay to share a screen?
Yes.
Okay. I'm here this evening to just speak about an update on the town park ADA trail. This is a project I've been working with Jane on. And project that we've gone through approvals with the DEC, the DEP, and also the Town of Lewisboro Planning Board. So I'll give you an overall sense of what is being proposed. I'm sure Jane will jump in and you can explain a little further about how this is being funded through some grants that the town has obtained. But you can see the site plan here. This is the town park to show you where we are in relation to the town park. The baseball fields are off here to the left. 35 is right here. The main parking lot and basketball courts are here, and then down below is kind of where the project begins over by the playground area. And that's what's depicted on kind of the center of the screen here, the playground and paved loop trail that extends off the parking lot, the basketball courts, the volleyball courts, and of course the pond down below. What's shaded in pink are the wetlands, including the pond, and they are all regulated by the New York State DEC as well as the town of Lewisboro. And what exists there today that extends kind of over by the swing set and through the woods is an earthen or dirt walkway, dirt path that's used pretty frequently. Extends into the woods. There's a footbridge that crosses this little brook. Extends up into like an upland area where I think folks refer to as the outdoor classroom. There's a lean-to type structure there. And then the trail extends, it comes out of the woods and it wraps around the pond. There's another bridge that crosses the outlet stream to the pond that's more substantial. Another lean-to or shed type structure before you link back up to the asphalt drive that's adjacent to the pool complex. I'll just kind of show you some pictures of what's out there. This is where the trail begins by the swing set playground area. And you just see it's a pretty well-used dirt trail. This is that footbridge that crosses the first brook, looking up to the outdoor education center and first lean-to picnic tables up there. This is a closer picture of the lean-tos off to the left, looking down towards the pond. You pop out of the woods, ponds to your right. This is the more substantial bridge that's at the outlet dam structure. And then the pool complex. So the project really involves formalizing this path into an ADA compliant walking path, following basically where the existing path is located now. There's not any tree removal associated with the project. The project is really removing about 6 inches deep worth of earth, dirt, and installing a gravel walking path. And I can go over the details with you on that. It's about 800 feet, the entire walkway. And it's going to truly follow what's there. This bridge over the main outlet would remain as is. The first footbridge that you cross would be replaced. And I think that particular aspect of the project isn't going to be included in the bid. It's going to be done with volunteer labor. We walked it a couple of times with Mike Sergey and his crew, and I think that's something that he plans on tackling. So the trail itself here's a blow up of a detail of it. this is a cross-section detail of what the trail would consist of. And that would be, a total depth of a 6-inch excavation. The bottom 4 inches would be compacted item 4 over compacted subgrade. Then we'd have a 2-inch layer of an ADA compliant surface material. Right now we have spec this Hagen surface. That's actually a UK company. And we found something that's very similar that is US and New Jersey based. It would be far less expensive to import. We did have the supervisor in mind when we spec'd the Hagen material because it's from the UK, but it's very expensive. We had to go looking towards New Jersey.
We're expensive people, Jan. Okay.
So the trail's 4 feet wide, and it would have an ADA compliant surface material. So really, the project consists of excavating the 6 inches of material, bringing it in the item 4 and the gravel surface, revegetating either side of the trail, installing some erosion controls, and that's about it. We have some tree protection details, erosion control, silt fence details, some construction access details. Other than that, it's really just formalizing this path. It does get a lot of use, and I think folks will be able to make this loop, the town park, walk up this driveway and cross the existing bridge, get up to the main parking lot again. But this is something's fully permitted. We went to the DEP, the DEC, and the planning board. All those permits are in place. The cost of the project would exceed the provisions for like an RFP, request for a proposal. It is something that needs to be publicly bid. So we've put together the bid specs, and that's kind of really why we're here this evening, just to go over them with you and get your approval to go out to bid for the project. All the legal documents have been prepared. They've been reviewed by Anthony's office, and we've prepared the written technical specifications, which I won't really bore you with, but they're kind of elaborative and narrative form, what the contractor is responsible for and how they were there to construct path and maintain construction. We've got our written specifications. We have what we call the front end. It's all the notice to bidders. That's this document here. This is what we sent over to Anthony for review. It's your typical, we developed this for the town several years ago for all the public bids. So it's your format. And we can go out to bid as soon as you're ready, as soon as you want it to hit the streets. Could be later this week. I threw in, I think, today's date as the opening, but that would probably end up being Friday once we make copies of the plans and the bid specs, get it up to the town clerk's office. Then we would look for bids to be due by November 9th, giving everybody a week to put in their bid. And then, it's something that could get constructed this construction season, November. I don't think it would take very long, a few weeks. And it's a lump sum bid. So as opposed to having line by line itemized bid, it's a lump sum just because of the simplicity of the project. So you get one number back from the contractor, and we hope we get a number of folks bidding on this. It's kind of my presentation.
This can also be used for kids on bicycles or not?
Yeah, it's going to be a very firm but porous surface. And it's
Okay.
also, I forgot to mention, important though, it's going to be both sides of the path are going to have a 14 gauge, 6-inch deep steel edge to hold the material in place. It doesn't fall off into the shoulder of the trail. So it is something that I think you could bike on, walk on, push a stroller on. It's going to be a very compacted, stable surface. It does meet ADA specifications because of that reason. And I think it'll hold up well. It'll be a nice walking surface, but also porous for the environmental benefit.
Right, and we talked about having the no mow along the pond area as well. Yes.
Yeah, part of the mitigation
What was,
is we're going to establish this no mow zone on the outside edge of the pond. Will allow wildflowers and
Okay.
to grow. Just an area that won't be, right now you got to maintain lawn. It's weed whacked right down to the edge. So the DEC was looking for some sort of mitigation there, and I think that will end up looking nice and will provide some benefit to the pond.
Thank you, Jan. I'd like to make a motion to go forward with an RFP for this project, except that we will shift the date of October 13th to October 16th, otherwise as proposed. Do I have a second?
I second.
Discussion. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Peter,
Thank
can
you.
I just
Yes.
make mention? Since today is Tuesday, the public notice cutoff was today at 5. So I'm not sure if I can get it in the paper on Friday. Is that a deal breaker, Anthony?
It depends on when you notice it for. November 9th, usually need at least 5 days notice for the bid. When are you able to publish soonest?
It would be the 23rd if she's not willing to work with me to get it in.
That would be enough time for receiving it on the 9th. If that's enough time for it to be out there, for companies to prepare and submit bids.
Yeah, we could also push the due date back a week. I think that would be sufficient as well.
I'd suggest we push it back a week because rather than cause a chaos of, we've just been through what RFP, which was a little bit chaotic at the end as we tried to get it out.
So the 16th, Jan?
Yes.
They'd be due back November 16th.
Jan, did you tell us what the lump sum was, or you're saying that when people bid, they'll give a lump sum?
Yes.
Yeah, they'll bid and they'll give you a lump sum price.
Okay. Thank you.
Sure.
And I just also, I should have said this during the discussion, but I didn't get it in, that this project is made possible with funds from the State Senate office. There were some funds available called state aid to municipalities, and the town board worked alongside Senator Harcum and his office to go ahead and get some improvements done here in our parks, both this project, which allows for more inclusivity in our park and more use of it by all kinds of people. And also we'll be doing some improvements to Fox Valley and some of the baseball infrastructure there. So I wanted to thank the Senator's office and really look forward to this. And we'll have volunteer labor after this path is done with Mike Sardej and a crew there. We'll do some volunteer labor to update the bridges and the lean-tos, and then to work with the Lewisboro Land Trust and some other community partners who are interested in creating an outdoor classroom. And so hopefully that will be well used. And I really look forward to seeing this happen.
Jane, just one thing for your information. Mike was in a car accident.
Oh,
I don't know if you're aware of that. And he may be out of commission for a few, I don't know how long,
Okay.
but certainly for a month, I think.
Is he okay?
Yeah, but I think he hurt his back.
Yeah. Okay. Well, okay.
And
I'll
that's-
give him a call. I did not know that, and I appreciate that. And I'm not as concerned about his volunteer efforts as I am about him. So I will give him a call tomorrow.
Okay.
Thanks all.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Jon, for all your work on this. I
Thank you,
really
Jan.
appreciate it. It's very-
Jan, you
Thank you.
can go and sabotage some other town now.
Thank you. Take care.
All right.
Oh,
Thanks.
yeah.
Okay.
Right.
You too.
I'm going to move next to public comment, and I would welcome comments on everything except the park and rec budget. If you want to comment on that, you will have an opportunity at the end of the meeting after you've seen the budget. Welcome, Dan.
Thank you.
Hi, Dan.
Sorry, I
Dan.
Hello.
managed to get myself out of the other meeting.
Well done.
It's good to have you
Um,
here.
Does anybody wish to take advantage of the public comment period?
Peter, currently I have one hand up. It's Richard Sclerin. I'm asking him to unmute and to share his video if he so desires. Hold on. Richard, are you there?
I'm here.
Okay, I'm asking you to start the video.
Okay.
Yeah,
Can you hear me and see me?
we can hear you and see you, and you now have 2 minutes.
Great.
Loud and clear.
Good evening. I'm Rich Sclaren, 22-year Goldens Bridge resident and member of the planning board. For those who haven't heard, there's some great breaking news about the affordable housing project on Route 22. Last Friday, the Supreme Court down in White Plains dismissed the legal challenges which have been preventing construction from moving forward. So now we hope finally to have a green light to build 42 affordable townhouse-style apartments in what will be known as Lewisboro Commons. I think this is great news for our town, and I'm so proud that I helped to make it happen. Why? It brings our town into compliance with federal law regarding affordable housing. It avoids a potentially crippling lawsuit, which could have cost the town tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars. And with the onset of construction, it'll bring in a much needed financial boost to the town and help us in getting through these economically challenging times. For my part, I'll continue to work as an active citizen and hopefully as an elected town board member to strengthen Lewisboro as a welcoming and vibrant community. It's time to stop the negativity and the divisiveness and be the open and kind neighbors that I know we are. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Richard. Peter, can I just ask a question about that?
Yes?
Tony. So it's been dismissed, but I understand that we did incur costs associated.
Yeah, we incurred by the time the final bills are in, we will have spent $90,000 on defending the town.
Okay.
Which is unfortunate because there are other things we could have done with that $90,000.
Thank you.
Anybody else wish to speak?
Yes, Peter. Right now, I'm asking Robin Leganzowski to unmute and to show her video if she cares to.
Hi.
Hi, Robin.
So with this new building project, are they going to be having town water and sewer? Will this water be drinkable? Or will it be like Oak Ridge water and problems for 20 years? Do we have information on that? Also, I wanted to see if anyone apologized to Tim Cronin from the meeting last week, since Dan Welsh interrupted him in his 2 minutes, and then Mr. Parsons yelled at him for having a back and forth when he was just giving his statement. And that's all. Thanks.
Robin, I suggest you ask him whether anybody apologized to him.
Okay,
And the answer on water, it's like any normal house. It will have wells.
okay, good, because I don't think we're equipped to offer anything else.
Okay, thank you, Robin. Next, I'm asking Simone Petromelis to unmute.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, Simone.
Okay, from Vista. And I also am very concerned about the water going forward. I have spoken with Tony, who I'm very happy is getting involved in this. I've also spoken with Andrea, who's taken a lot of initiative on this project, and Erica, who's the head of the Vistans for Safe Water. I am concerned because I did talk with Mr. Sclaren, and he did say on that side of town that they also have water issues. So all this building is great, and certainly affordable housing is a great thing. I know that there are units at Oak Ridge, but still the water is disgusting, and it has been for 20 years. And that is a huge concern for me. As far as divisiveness, I'm sorry that Mr. Sclaren brought that up, because I'd like to see a town board that is one that works together, which leads me to my last comment, which I wasn't even going to speak about. But Mr. Parsons, you asked Robin to speak to, I guess, Mr. Cronin to see if he got an apology. I felt like you insulted him in public, and the apology should have been in public. That's my opinion. Certainly you can do your apologies if you in fact did one as you see fit, but that's my opinion. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Simone. And that appears to be it, Supervisor.
All right, I'd like to move on to communications. The first item in communications is a resolution which I'd like the town board to adopt, seeing as I've already handed it out. It's a resolution adopted by the town board of the town of Lewisboro at a meeting held on October 13th, 2020. Whereas Lise Robertson has completed 35 years of service to the town of Lewisboro, having been appointed as assistant assessment clerk on October the 7th, 1985, deputy assessor on July 28th, 2008, and assessor on September the 8th, 2008. Her rapid rise from deputy to assessor was facilitated by the then town supervisor, Ed Brancati, who accepted her predecessor's resignation before persuading a somewhat reluctant Lise to accept the job of town assessor, while giving her 3 years to pass the required examinations. And whereas Lise Robinson stepped up to this challenge magnificently, fulfilling the needed qualifications, performing her duties without fear or favor, giving homeowners the benefit of adjusting their assessments upwards or downwards while explaining the appeals process open to them, and being endlessly courteous to realtors and others who needed information from her files, so benefiting the entire town. And whereas this dedication to public service is an example to all and is deserving of public notice, now therefore be it resolved that the town board of the town of Lewisboro in the county of Westchester in the state of New York, in recognition of the worthy service of Lise Robertson to the town of Lewisboro, does hereby offer the thanks of its populace to Lise Robertson for her dedication to this. Be it therefore resolved that this resolution be spread upon the minutes of this October 13th, 2020 town board meeting for future generations to see, and that a copy be presented to Lise Robertson, dated at South Salem, New York on this 13th day of October 2020. Do I have a second on that?
Second.
Discussion. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Congratulations.
I'd also like to put in a word of thanks to Mary Hafter, who organized a magnificent celebration of her 35th at lunch, and a lot of fun was had by all. Ed Brancati joined us and fitted in remarkably well for a guy who hasn't worked in this town for some years. Thank you very much. Next item, I have a letter here from Judge Eileen Nadelson, addressed to Henry Wolf and copied to me. I have been researching other town TV stations, and it appears that they do not provide any entertainment type programs. The only ones they show are the only things they show are programs of the town board committees, etc. I checked out Chappaqua, Scarsdale, Sleepy Hollow, North Salem, even Peekskill to see what they did. What good fortune to have as the Lewisboro town producer, ideas for different, a man who has ideas for different community programs. I love living in this town among neighbors with savvy and artistic flair like you. Thank you, Eileen Nadelson. Rather nice comment to Henry. I thought I'd read it because he doesn't get too many nice ones. And what's next? COVID-19. There has been some resurgence in the county in the last 2 weeks. For the most part, however, the northeast of the county has stayed relatively stable. Bedford and North Salem have gone up 3. Somers and Pound Ridge have gone down 1. And we have stayed absolutely stationary at 5 active cases. But it's clear that there is a resurgence in the county. And I suspect it will begin to intrude on our peaceful neighborhood, much as it has in New York City and begun to move out onto Long Island. We must not let our guard down. We need to go on wearing masks and taking care that this does not stop life again in the town. I gather that today is the last day of the census. I'm not 100% sure, but I think the Supreme Court today decided that. Lewisboro came in at 79%, and it's worthwhile noticing that we were 8.2 points ahead of what we'd been 10 years ago. And that was the largest increase of any town in Westchester. So thank you very much, all of those who cooperated with the census.
Barbara Mangione.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, thank you, Barbara.
Yes. Did anybody else catch that news item
Yes,
about the Supreme Court?
yes, yes, I did.
And am I right that today's the
You're right.
last day? Okay.
Well, I don't know if it's officially, I mean, if it's going to be, potentially appealed, I don't know.
I was in the kitchen, so I didn't necessarily hear it perfectly. That's why I was asking.
I just heard it in passing, yeah.
All right. I'd like to propose that we adopt the consent agenda consisting of monthly reports from building, police, and the minutes of September 28th meeting. Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Is Tristan Galla here?
Yes, he is,
Yes,
Peter.
I can see him.
Yeah,
On.
let me,
Kristen, I'd like to call on you to explain to us your Eagle Scout project.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
May I share my screen so I can give you guys a visual along with it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just let me know when I'm enabled to do so.
Joe, is it good? You
Uh,
good?
Use the
Cool.
Zoom Pro.
You're already enabled, actually.
Okay. Sorry, I'm editing system preferences so that I can allow my computer to do so. Okay, I think I should be good.
Well, off you go then.
Am I visible?
Yes.
Yes.
You
Yes.
are.
All right. Good evening, town board members. My name is Tristan Galler, and I am currently a Life Scout in Troop 154 Goldens Bridge, looking for approval on my Eagle Scout project. I am proposing the construction of 8 16 by 4 foot raised garden beds in the community gardens at Onatru Farm. I have heard that many of the senior citizens working at this community garden have enjoyed the space, but had had trouble constantly bending down to the ground in order to tend to their crops. By constructing these raised beds, it will be easy for them to take care of their plants and produce better results while guaranteeing more comfort. This project is following in the footsteps of John O'Dwyer, who received approval for this project in the spring of 2018. So just starting off, this is a quick sketch, both plan view, so aerial and side view of the potential constructed garden beds. And as you can see, there are 4 corner posts here along 2 sets of 8-foot wood boards with 4-foot wood boards at the sides. And as well, this is a full view of the current state of the Onatru raised garden beds constructed by John O'Dwyer, with the previous beds here, as well as the current existing conditions for where I am intending to construct the raised garden beds. Yeah. I hope to begin this project by the 1st of November, and I ideally would like to have it done by Thanksgiving at the latest, before the ground freezes.
So are the new beds a restoration of the old ones, or
No, I am sorry to interrupt.
No, please.
I am constructing completely new ones, and I am installing them at these current gardening tarps that have been placed down.
Mm-hmm.
The current beds, Dan, are only in, I would say, about a third?
Correct, roughly so.
Of the gardens.
Great.
And I will admit, I'm one of those ancient bodies which would appreciate any addition to the height.
So this is an extension, Tristan, to what's there. You're adding more alongside it.
Yes, I plan to. I'm not exactly sure of the number that John O'Dwyer has constructed at this point, but I am planning to follow in his footsteps and finish the entire community garden area by installing these beds so everyone can have access to them. Because
that's a lot of work, I should warn you.
I'm aware. I'm already
done in 3 weeks.
Yeah. I'm planning to hit the ground running as soon as possible. And I already have a bunch of people who are more than willing to volunteer and give their hours.
Oh, the secret of success, delegation.
Absolutely.
Bang it out, bang it out. I want to say thank you. So I think this project is really thoughtful. It considers, the natural landscape at Onatru and builds on one of our most beautiful assets there, also a community asset. And then also it's super mindful of the people who use it the most and what will make it more accessible for them. So I just thank you. And I just wanted to appreciate the particular thoughtfulness to this project. And I think it's going to be very useful. So I look forward to it.
Thank you.
One question. Have you got a liaison with the garden club?
Yes, I have been talking with Jay Lucy, who is affiliated with the Garden Club, as well as Joel Smith, who oversees some of the grounds and maintenance at Onatru.
We know him.
Good, because the garden club members can be quirky.
Yeah,
They're
both
very
of
nice and they're very well intentioned, but they have got distinct points of view about things. I'm married to one.
And
Well, I'm more than willing to work with them and achieve the best results.
you have
Thank you, Tristan.
a little bit more of a challenge than Scouts Pass, in that you'll have to have some COVID protocols while you have your fellow workers on site. Yes.
Of course. Well, there's obviously the mandatory mask procedure, as well as the enforced no carpooling together protocol, where everyone has to arrive and leave separately. We're also planning to practice social distancing procedures while engaged in the work, which shouldn't be too hard considering the length of these boards that we're working with. But yeah, I am attempting to my best to make the complete accommodation so that no one will be in any sort of risk.
It should also be easier because you're now working in the off season.
Yeah.
If there are no more questions, I'd like to propose that we congratulate him on the project, and we agree that I should in fact refer the project to ACOG. Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. Thank you
very much, Tristan.
and good luck.
Thank you again, Tristan.
Thank you. Can I ask one thing as well, just to make sure that you're aware? As the beneficiary, you guys are also, it would be, I believe you're required to sign off on my Eagle proposal when you've approved and everything is ready. So I just want to make sure you were aware.
Can you get it to my office?
Absolutely. Should
And
I
I will
let you know?
ensure it is signed off on. I mean,
Awesome.
so that sounds terrible. That we sign it granting our approval and thanks.
Thank you so much.
All right. Next item is a discussion regarding changes to the accessory apartment local law and setting a public hearing for that change. Basically, the current law requires that the building department inspect these inspects accessory apartments biennial. Is biennial once every 2 years or twice a year? Once every 2 years, I think.
Every two, I believe, yes.
Yeah.
Well, the current law requires that they're inspected once every 2 years. This, first of all, is kind of an intrusion. There is nothing else we do this for. If you install a new bathroom, we give you get your building permit, but we do not come back and look at your bathroom every 2 years. And I think this is excessive. It is a huge amount of work for the building department. And quite honestly, something which previous building inspectors have just not done. So rather than have a law and ignore it, I am proposing, and so is Joe, that we change the law and abide by it. I'd like to, if people agree, I'd like to set a public hearing on that.
So could you just summarize those changes? See that the inspection clauses are deleted.
Yes.
Will there be no more inspection at all of this type of regular nature?
Yeah, so what this provision really is a leftover from when this use was by special permit only. So in order to continue with your special permit, you had to get these inspections performed. The board in 2016, I believe, changed the law to allow accessory apartments as a permitted accessory use, not requiring a special use permit. So there were a couple parts of your code that were confusing in that regard, one of which is that the Zoning Board of Appeals was still designated as the authority to issue the special use permit for that particular use. And when people, look at that provision of code, they get confused as to whether they need the special use permit or not. So we propose to take out that phrase out of the zoning board, out of the authorization provisions, and to take out the inspection provisions to 2040E. And those are one more.
And G1, where the owner is actually required
When
a
you say a
fee.
special use permit, that is not a special use permit, you no longer need a fee. And I don't think that fee ever made it to the schedule anyway.
That makes total sense.
So really, it's cleaning up a change that was made in 2016 to make it more, more appropriate for the building department to handle.
Joe, any comments?
Nope, no, I think, am I unmuted?
Yes, you are.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I think this is a good idea. Those inspections hadn't been made in years, and I don't think it's necessary at all. Anytime someone's given a CO on something, there aren't any follow-up inspections, so this should be no different. There's no reason to invade people's privacy or to take all the extra time to track it. I believe there was an old fee of maybe $100 or $125. With that kind of fee, the town would be losing money to perform those inspections.
And the whole point of the change in law, which we made, I've forgotten, 4, 5, 6 years ago, was to make accessory apartments more available and the whole process to be easier.
Right, by right.
But you understand when these people apply for an accessory apartment, they have to meet all the criteria, and all the construction inspections are done, and also things like the health department, we check to make sure they have enough bedrooms, enough septic to handle the extra bedroom or extra kitchen. So once it has the certificate of occupancy, it's the same as any other certificate of occupancy.
Anthony, is this the kind of change which I would have to send to the planning board or not?
Yeah, it's a change to zoning code, so you have to send it to planning, send it to county planning.
Okay, in that case, I'd like to
give yourself a little time.
I'd like to propose that we set a public hearing for 6 weeks from today. Is that all right, Janice? Is there a town board meeting 6 weeks from today?
So I think you're going to be looking at November 23rd.
Okay, fine. Because that will give the planning board time to get back to us.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thanks,
Joe.
You're welcome.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, everyone,
Let's
have a
move
good
on. Dana.
Find her.
Is Dana here?
I believe so. There she is.
Yes, I can see her. She's waving.
Yes. Yep, and I'm asking her to unmute, Dana.
Dana, would you like to present the Parks and Rec 2021 budget for our consideration?
Yes, absolutely. Our department's assumption is going to be that we will not be able to hold 2019 programming until at least June of 2021. So our budget is based on the fact that we will not be full force at least until June, if not further into 2021. We've cut a lot of items knowing that there might not be a ski program this year. The basketball is not going to happen. And our biggest request on the budget is in 2020, we had a request to have a second parks maintenance position to when Randy retired to help keep up with the over 600 acres of parkland and preserve land that the Parks Department is in charge of. I did not get my second person this year, and I'm begging for January 1 second person start. And I do realize we're in hard times, but the park showed that they weren't getting a lot of attention through these hard times and really need some TLC from an extra person. So that is my biggest budget request. Everything else was either holding steady or decreasing, knowing that our programs weren't going to happen the way they normally happened in years past.
But you've included that individual in your budget already.
Yes.
Because Dana is right. There has been considerable flack about our upkeep of the preserves, which I've been sort of fending off or tossing to Dana or something, but normally, quite honestly, fending it off and making excuses in terms, financial excuses mainly. But I think we've reached the point where it's, if we don't do something, it's going to get worse and worse and worse. And it's going to get very hard to get it back again. All right, Dana, what else? Sorry. Or is that all you
That
got?
was in a nutshell.
Yeah.
You don't want to go line to line for 10 pages of budget.
No, I don't.
So if anyone has any questions, I'm more than happy to answer them. But on just a broad paintbrush, that was our budget.
So broad paintbrush, there's pluses and minuses, say, versus this, what's the net impact on taxes? I'm looking at a difference of previous year. Let's see, total revenues. I got to add some numbers up here. Do you have that?
Dan, we truly, honestly feel that, there are certain programs we know we're not going to be able to run in 2021. Like Teen Treks, I still don't think the camps will be traveling. I don't think they'll be busing. But do I think in 2021, now that we have the Lewisboro Elementary School gym now full-time, thank you all very much for your support and getting that done. It's been huge for our department. But I think with that gym, we can now run the Little Explorers program out of that gym. But again, I don't see these kids taking trips to where they used to take trips for, at least until 2022.
Okay.
But our revenue estimates is probably half of what we made. So it's a little over $500,000 when we were making over $1 million.
So I see that on the expense side, you're down 391,000. So the net change in terms of like the town contribution looks to be about $114,000.
Yes.
Okay.
Should we share that screen just so that we can all see what?
Oh, you want me to share that? Okay.
Or I can do it. Either way, Dan.
Got it.
And I'm going to take a big bet that Dana will show the same ingenuity with her staff as she's been showing throughout this summer.
They've done a fantastic job.
Where somehow Lewisboro was the most innovative municipality in the county.
Yeah.
We went ahead with a camp while other people were still staring and thinking about it or canceling it. Mm-hmm. We have nobody quite understood how she came up with a plan to entertain and teach kids while they were out of school this fall. And I think, Dana, how many towns have now followed your example?
21. The county, our county legislator called to congratulate Lewisboro. And again, I can't take credit. Michael Portnoy, this was his brainchild back in June, and him and Reed figured out how to get it done. And I truly was just the one trying to find tunnels for them to go through to not get that daycare permit, because that would have taken over 6 months. But we were legally operating under a different umbrella of the state. So, but again, you're only as good as people you surround yourself with. I have a great team here right now that I'm very proud of and impressed with. I am blessed with the town board that has been extremely patient, supportive, encouraging, and a Park and Rec Advisory Board, which many are on this call tonight listening, that might want to say things. But I mean, the Park and Rec Advisory Board has been amazing with ideas, support, encouragement, assistance, volunteering. So again, you're only as good as people that you surround yourself with. And Lewisboro is blessed to have so many layers of great people who want to see things happen for, especially the children during this pandemic, who are probably suffering the most out of all of us, because their life is nothing like it was.
And Dana, I'd just like to add that last week when I was there at Lise Robertson's luncheon, and Jen Castellano was there as well, we both toured the facility. So yeah, excellent job. Michael Portnoy gave us a tour. It was great to see kids there having fun, learning, and the people that were working with them were terrific. So well done. Good.
And more people, we got 2 more phone calls today over the weekend of them wanting to sign up. Now that they're 6 weeks into the school year, they feel that this is a better option than working from home for their children. So it's still, people are still signing up for it, which is great.
Wow.
You've all done a fantastic job pivoting in kind of this crazy environment. So we appreciate everything that you have done, and the feedback has been overwhelmingly positive, as others have noted. So
now the challenge is to do as well next spring.
I have no doubt we're up for it, sir. And it is pretty amazing when Lewisboro tends to be either middle of the pack or the end of the pack, to be leading the pack out of the 42 municipalities in the county.
Yes.
And this area, your area of management here is maybe the one that's filled with the most uncertainty, perhaps, of anything the town does. So to keep things rolling like this is a real accomplishment.
So thank you, Dana.
Okay, well done, Dana. The real decision point comes when we put all this together and decide how much we're really going to spend in total.
Show our gratitude in the dollars, Dana says.
All right. Dana, thank you.
No problem. No questions? Easiest
No.
budget presentation.
Not yet, no.
I think we've been doing and redoing finances this year as we've had to pivot and be a little nimble. So, you know.
And there is no way that you can, initially when I looked at the budget, I thought, oh my gosh, there are gaps. Nobody quite knows what they're going to do. And then I realized there is no way anybody knows what they're going to do going into what is almost certainly a second wave of COVID, which we're beginning to see in the south of the county. And we just don't know what's going to happen. And it's pretty pointless pretending that we do.
Maybe though, you do have a capital budget line or a capital budget thing in your memo. Do you want to talk about those items?
We can.
Why?
If you'd like. I didn't think that this was going to be part of the budget, but not a problem.
I don't know. You included
Kind of a wish list, right? Is that
Yeah,
what
it's a wish list.
Is this a wish list?
I mean, this is what I'm
It's a-
hearing. What I'm hearing is that Dana's priority is that second person that we talked about last year. And when I looked at the rest of the list, if we grant that wish, that's really all we can do anyway. But we could talk about your she shed.
We have already, I think, agreed. Well, all right. I have suggested strongly that we should agree to the second person in parks.
And then I just towed the line so well.
That's unusual.
I just wrapped that up for you in a little bow, but
Are you well today?
Go, Dana, what do you want? Now's the time.
Well, I thought the wish list was more for bond money than the budget.
Yes, it is more for bond money. And really, the question is, I guess, what, if anything, we embark on at the pool?
Yes.
Because that is the huge item, right?
Well, that and the water issue over at Fox Valley Bathrooms, and whether you put an equivalent bathroom into the budget or bond the money for that.
Yeah, but that is, if we put in a composting toilet over there, it is a relatively, and on the scale of the swimming pool improvements, it's a relatively small cost.
Yeah.
Maybe that's because I picked such a big comparative item. But Dana, my memory is it comes in around 70,000. Am I right?
Yep.
Which is very different from the 200 or 300,000 figures that we tend to look at with the pool.
Well, my she shed is close to $1 million.
Yeah, I was gonna say the one on there is 800, but I feel like the
What the heck is a she shed?
It's the redoing of the bathhouses with the visionary dream of having 2 more floors of like a community room.
Yes, all right.
Right.
I'm just saying, you asked what it was. So that's the 800, but I haven't heard anything less than 350 just for the basic bathhouse renovation.
Really to hold the structure and just gut the insides.
So I guess
Yes.
those various projects, they should be deployed in some way that makes sense versus construction and financing, lead time and things like that. So if it's not necessary to cover it now, I just thought maybe there's some safety things or whatever in there that we need to.
Well, the problem over at Fox Valley is a real one.
Right. That's not.
We're going to be
Right.
prohibited to use the water supply over there
So that is real. So
any day now. And according to Joel, the county is getting really fed up with us. And so I think the right way is not to replace the water supply, but is to put in a composting toilet.
I agree.
yeah, if that mitigates the issue, then absolutely.
And then we can continue to use the water for irrigation, but we just can't use it for personal hygiene.
So Peter, what is the county
Interesting.
complaining about with the water at Fox Valley?
Joel, are you on this call?
I have some paperwork.
Tony, it's on a special waiver. We're the only public facility that has this special waiver. Well, oh, there's Joel.
Yeah, we're running on a disinfection waiver out at Fox Valley, which they don't give out very many anymore. So we're going to be required to install disinfection out there.
I thought the claim was that we had the only one in Westchester.
No, there's a few left, but not many.
Okay.
And this is so the water can be potable? Is that it?
No, this makes it so the water will be irrigation only.
No, it will be irrigation only
Yes.
if we'll be allowed to do that. But at the moment, people are allowed to wash their hands and go to the toilet, right?
Well, it's perfectly potable right now.
Okay.
Yes.
There's no issues with the water out there. It's just installing a disinfection system. We'd have to enlarge that building, and it's pretty expensive.
But the reason we want to install that, or we're being requested to install a disinfection system, is so that we could use the water for irrigation?
No, so we can go on using it for washing your hands and flushing the toilet.
But I just heard that it's okay now to use for that purpose.
It is, yeah, it is, but we're going to lose that waiver.
Oh, it's a waiver. Okay, so the waiver is related to that. Got it. Okay.
Yeah, once we lose the waiver, it's disinfection or irrigation.
Got it.
They're waiving what, the need for disinfection or the, certain,
It's just required with public water supplies. It's a standard.
So this is just outdated then, really?
Yes.
There's nothing there. It's just
Okay,
plain well water right now.
right.
So
Okay,
if we do this, then we would stop the water service to the existing bathroom.
Yes.
Yes,
Mm-hmm. Okay.
but water would, the same water supply could continue to be used for irrigation.
okay.
Right.
And then we could replace with the composting toilets, which are something along the lines of like $5,000 each, I believe.
$5,000?
Was it 5 to 10 the last time? I'm trying to
No.
remember. More?
The,
No.
the two
Dream
seaters,
on.
Maybe it's wishful thinking.
Yes.
two seaters up to about 70,000.
Oh, way more. Okay.
And then 750 a year for annual maintenance because they have to come and rake and pump and add more like filtering material.
Incidentally, I think it's a bit misleading to call it a two-seater. It's not really a two-seater like we had two-seaters when I grew up.
Two-door units.
Yes, two-door units.
One
yes.
toilet in each side.
Yes.
Right, right. I think what I'm thinking back to is at one point with the grants last year, we were talking about adding 5 to 10 grand towards those, not the full price amount.
Okay.
So if we, with these capital items, if we, look at them for 2021, that could mean if we're bonding for them, say, that could mean we're not actually starting repayment until 2022, maybe?
Correct.
In which case, and if the capital improvement helps to sort of keep things going and keep the revenue flowing and all the rest of that, then I think they're, item by item we look at it, but there could be justification in doing that, certainly.
Yeah, and Dan, I'm just checking something. By 22, I think one of our big road bonds will in essence be disappearing, which will help. Maybe it's in 23, but it's, you remember the huge road bond which you did back in sort of prehistoric times, Dan?
Yeah, 600, 700,000, which I
No, it was way more.
One of my favorite lines of
That was okay.
It was 2 million or so.
It was 2 million?
Yes.
Yeah. One of my favorite lines of Dan's is that whenever we're done with those payments, whoever's on the board at that time is going to look like a, budget geniuses.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I'm as far as roads are concerned, I'm a real-time.
That's right. Get up on that soapbox, Dan.
Not yet. You'll get it later.
No, every opportunity.
Set me
All
up.
right. Thank you. You got some input, Dana, as well on capital. But that is truthfully a separate session, I think, to finalize capital.
Yeah. It would be, nice and thinking we should try to lay that all out, townwide, the capital needs and where we are on the debt and things like that. Look at it.
It's right here, Dan.
Oh, all right. Including the plans.
Yes, it's provided by the gentleman who lives next door to me.
Excellent.
Leo.
He's on. Maybe we can have him chime in.
Oh, hold on. Let me get Leo. Leo, I'm asking you to unmute.
He would rather prefer me to make a fool of myself than him get involved.
Okay. There you are.
Hey guys, how are you?
Hi, Leo.
Hi, Leo.
Good, thanks. How are you?
Good.
I know
What's
you
the
have
question?
I know you have all our, our debt schedule and all that going on. I'm talking about taking all these different wish list items and
all right.
Running a couple of scenarios so we look how those look versus, adding new repayments versus what's coming off and the, net effect.
That's what I thought you were asking for.
Yeah.
Not what we already have, but.
Okay, I'm sorry.
But
I was talking about
just to
what we already
clarify
had.
what Peter was talking about, in 2022, the open spaces and pool construction bond, which was about 2.7 million, that debt service stops.
Sorry, got the wrong one.
2023, the $3 million road resurface bond, that will end.
I recommend that we do both those things.
End them.
But
They will really,
but
it will
I
really
do-
help when those bonds are paid off.
But I do caution, though, that the windfall won't be as great because we currently have bans outstanding, which will also start to be paying off. And the majority of them will need to be converted to a bond. So you will have savings in 22, but 23, maybe the savings aren't as great as you may anticipate.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks, Leo.
Thanks for that, Leo.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. I'd like to move on to a discussion of a request by a gentleman in Walkerbuck to install pillars with lights at the end of his driveway. This is, as it happens, at 15 Powder Hill. I have a strong recommendation from my highway superintendent not to allow this, because in practice, this would, he doesn't see any way to avoid destruction of the pillars and lights when they're plowing, because they will be so close to the road surface. Because there is I assume other people have seen with a picture of this property, where you have rocks coming almost down to the road. And then you would have to fit the pillars with the lights in a very narrow space, which is within the roadway right of way. So I have got a significant recommendation from Peter Rippinger to not allow that. I haven't asked Peter Rippinger to be present because, as you probably know, he is recovering from a quadruple bypass.
Well, I tend to agree with your reluctance to okay this, because it doesn't seem like there's a particular hardship involved. There's lots of, they were looking, supposedly the reasoning was they wanted a little more light for when they went out in the evening for a stroll or something. And there's, a lot of other ways to design lighting to, to achieve those purposes. You don't have to have pillars sitting right there.
There's also an antique thing called a flashlight.
And that, if people want to have lights and do things, within the boundaries of not, being too much light pollution, then they should go and do what they want to do. But in this particular case, they're asking for this kind of variance on our usage, and it just seems like there are other options here.
Yeah, and those.
I was wondering when somebody else was going to mention light pollution, but I am somebody who actually still likes to be able to see my way around by the stars.
Mm-hmm.
And quite honestly, the more lights there are, the less possible that is.
And they don't have any room to go further back from the road, right? Because
there are those there are sort of cliffs there.
Right.
They can install the lights right on the side of the rocks in some creative way, something like that, if they need them. But
anyway, if he wants to come, if this gentleman would like to come back and discuss it with Peter, he can. But
Is he on the call by any chance?
Peter is in hospital.
No, not Peter, but the
No, no.
gentleman that wants the homeowner. Maybe he's on the call. What was his name? Let's see.
His name is Ario
Mursha.
Ario, are you on the call?
Looking, let's see.
I'm not seeing him, Peter, but it could be under a different name.
Right.
It doesn't appear that he's on here.
Okay, but at the moment, it's not, I'm sensing that the board does not want to override Peter Rippinger's advice.
Right, and in the long run, even if it's not the answer that the homeowner is expecting or wanting to hear, it sounds like we might be saving the headache of having that work done and then the plows take them down.
Yes, and Peter thinks that they're likely to come down on a fairly regular basis.
Right.
Yes, my mailbox, because of where I'm situated, my mailbox goes down and there's nothing that can be done about it. So if it was 2 pillars that I had spent good money on, I hope that we're saving some future frustration by looking ahead in that way and taking Rip's advice. And I didn't know that about his quadruple bypass. And so let's wish him well in his recovery.
He had it done on Saturday, I think. So he's
just,
either Friday or Saturday.
We should probably limit discussion on medical conditions in a board meeting.
I'm sorry, but all right. The next one is there is a gentleman who wants to us to install a stop sign at the corner of Long Pond Road and Mead Street. I've driven this and it scares me a bit because if you're coming from North Salem, you're going to be on that stop sign before you know what's happening. And I personally am scared it could create a false sense of security among pedestrians. Because if they assume that the stop sign will stop traffic, they could be in for a very bad surprise. I have also got a memo here from Dave Alfano. I think a stop sign here is not needed. I quickly scanned our records for accidents that occurred at this location and was unable to find any dating back several years. I also feel that we should see if lowering the speed limit to 25 miles per hour will help. I'm more than happy to have my officers sit and conduct a speed survey during the morning rush hour and clock speeds and tally the volume at this specific location. Again, I'd like to vote with our police chief. And I'm also conscious. I understand there's a problem, but I don't think a stop sign is going to stop it.
Peter, real quick, if I may. I put up the electronic speed sign, which also provides data. So next week I should have enough data, about 2.5, 3 weeks worth. And I could present that to the town board as well. It'll show you a whole graph and chart of all the speeds I went by.
Okay. Thank you, Dave. Let's go back to that at our next town board meeting if the data is available. Sure. Next, I have got, Dana has asked us to approve Increase Miller Elementary School 5th grade committee's use of a town park for holiday boutique and also to waive the fees. They will get a certificate of insurance naming the town as an additional insured. the date is open right now, Dana, so what are we allowing?
Basically, the school provides a holiday boutique in the month of December for kids to buy their siblings, parents, grandparents gifts for the holidays. The schools are not allowing the PTAs or PTOs to run these events within their school buildings due to COVID. So they would like to run it's a fundraiser for the PTO, a boutique out at the town park, more of a social distancing, going to be a very chilly one outside for the kids to browse, to buy gifts for their parents or siblings or relatives.
And are you happy to negotiate a suitable date with them?
Yeah, the date is, not many people want the town park or a pavilion on December 5th or something in the winter. So
Okay.
the date is open. Not many people want to be that cold, but they're willing to take the chance to give the kids an opportunity to keep with the tradition at Increase Miller, as well as raise some funds for the PTA, PTO.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve the Increase Miller Elementary School 5th grade committee's use of the town park for a holiday boutique and also to waive the fees. Do I have a second?
A second, and I just want to thank Peggy and Jill and Ellen on behalf of the Increase Miller community for collaborating with the town in an effort to continue this tradition, which my children have taken a part in, and we'll be happy to see it going forward at the town park.
Well done. Thanks. Tony, I'm going to pass the next item to you.
Do we actually eye that?
All in favor?
Oh, sorry. Do I have a second?
Yeah, you got
it. Yeah, you got a second.
Discussion, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Tony.
Okay, so the Lewisboro Veterans Advisory Committee would like to, they came up with this idea of putting a flagpole in front of the townhouse. We currently don't have one. We do have a small pole that's up in front of at the top balcony of the townhouse. So this would be a pole that's mounted in the ground, and they have raised the funds for the pole with donations, and they would like permission from the town to install the flagpole and to waive any fees, and to allow them to do this as soon as possible. I think we're looking at possibly next week or so to do this work.
If we have a flagpole out in front of the townhouse, does the flag need to be raised and taken down daily? And who will take care?
We need a light on it.
We need a light on it, but so we don't have to take it down, you mean?
If you have, I believe, and I'm subject to heck, I'm an Englishman giving advice on the US flag, but I believe that if you do not take it, you needn't take it down at night if you have a light shining on it.
Yeah, that sounds right. But then we also have to monitor when it goes to half mast. So
yeah, well, that already.
We do that already.
Joel already does that.
Right.
Okay.
So the request is to get the permission from the town to do that, and to waive any fees associated with any permits that are required. And also there's a tree in front of the townhouse that ideally should be removed.
Now you're getting into real trouble.
So that is something I'll have to go take a look at that tree again. I think Joel had already looked at it, and when John Lemke approached him with that idea. So
these two things related?
They are, yes. Ideally, we want that tree out of the way so that the flagpole is front and center and visible.
I'd like Joel to be involved in that decision. I can see Joel, and he's just unmuted himself.
Getting there.
Hey,
And
Joe.
this wouldn't rise to ACARC, would it?
Yeah, it would go through ACARC. The tree we're talking about got hit by lightning about 10 years ago. The top half of it's missing. It's a fir tree out in the front lawn. We always wanted to do something with that, but
It doesn't look graceful.
No.
Right. So the folks that are doing the installation or have offered to do the installation of the flagpole could potentially, and the foundation could potentially take the tree down as well. So if we're okay with that, we have someone that'll do it for us.
Joel, what do you think?
Yeah,
Go to
okay.
ACARC, but otherwise okay.
I would get an opinion from ACARC because we'll be doing something to the front of the townhouse in a special character district, you know.
Okay.
Now the problem with that is, and I didn't realize ACARC would have to be involved, but it's their next meeting is, I noticed was canceled, the meeting tomorrow. So they have one scheduled for November post Veterans Day. So we want to get this flagpole up.
Can we urge?
Why don't you form an alliance with Tristan Galler and try to get ACARC to have a meeting before then?
Okay, I could try that.
And to get that will give you a 2-item agenda at least.
Right. Okay.
Am I making any sense or not?
You are.
Yeah.
You are. Yes. Yes. Okay. And we definitely believe, because it's a special character, we definitely have to.
You definitely have to.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why, I mean, you could argue that raised beds at Ottertrue is a far bigger absurdity than the tree and the flagpole at the townhouse.
You mean in terms of having to take it to
Go to ACARC, yes.
So I'll call Kirsten. I'll speak to Kirsten tomorrow.
Okay.
To make that happen as soon as possible.
So if nobody else wants to object, I'm going to propose that we approve this subject to ACARC's agreement. And we are not only approving a flagpole, but we are also approving the death of a tree.
Maybe
it does look really ugly, Dan. I don't know if you've.
No, I'm just thinking maybe we should think then down the road to take a look around and see where we can plant the new tree.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, yeah. Well,
maybe even 2.
Right, 2 for 1.
That'll probably be an ACARC recommendation.
Right.
And a good place to put them, quite honestly, might be to put them along Elmwood Road at Ottertrue Farm.
No self-interest there, huh?
All right. Well,
that would be
that's
sort of globally, but I was thinking more local to that campus.
Oh, you'd like to do it right in the middle of South Salem. I'm not quite sure where. That's my only, that would be my only question. Unless maybe you were to do it, get Keith Bowers and Kelly Kunz's permission to put them on the far side of the fence at Echo Farm.
Get someone with an eye for these things to look at the campus and come up with ideas. That'd be nice.
Okay.
Okay.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. I sent you, members of the town board, a proposed announcement of the lot for sale. I got comments back from taxes, but nobody else. Does that mean that nobody else read it or that nobody else has any comments.
You only asked for comments if there were comments warranted.
Okay.
Right. We only said if there were changes, and we spoke on the phone and I said no changes.
Okay, well, I've accommodated Deirdre's changes.
Okay.
Okay, no, it looked fine, and you mentioned the you know, protection from development, so.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. In that case, I will move forward on that. I don't think I need a resolution because we've already discussed it. I'd like to propose a resolution. Will somebody else do this? To approve an extension agreement with Cheryl Newberger of Janelle Real Estate for, is it 65 Old Bedford Road in Goldens Bridge.
Right. Now, what is the, well, go ahead. I'm sorry, I'll wait till discussion.
She has always had this listing, and it's just a question of it runs out every few months and we need to renew it.
Sure, how long should we renew for?
I don't think we have a choice. I think it has to be renewed for 6 months.
Month's term, and then we're just renewing that. So that's fine. So I move that we authorize the supervisor to sign the extension of the real estate representation agreement for 65 Old Bedford Road with Cheryl Neuberger of Janelle Real Estate for 6 months, for another 6 months.
Okay, thanks. I'd now like to.
We seconded.
Second.
Discussion, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
I'd like to propose that we adopt the attached claims report, or the claims report. Do I have a second on that?
Second.
Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Are there any comments on Dana's, on the Park and Rec budget proposal from the public?
You're opening for public comment, just for.
Yes.
Public comment period number 2.
And only for that, right? We're not just.
Yes, not in general, just for that.
Correct. So no hands are up.
Okay, in that case, I'd like to move on to poll the board. Tony is your top left.
Sure, yeah. So I'd like to point everybody to our website where they can view a video of the Vista Fire Department virtual open house. They did a wonderful job. It was a great production by Brian Porco and his team. So make sure you go to the website. The link is there. It's also posted on the supervisor and the town's Facebook page. The second item is the Veterans Advisory Committee working together with young man in town, Andrew Lucasen. We're kicking off, or have kicked off, a project for installing veterans banners in the 3 shopping centers in town. The information on how to sponsor a banner is going to be posted on our website. It's not there yet, but I think it has been posted on several Facebook pages. But what I want to do is I just want to show the screen. If I can share my screen, Janet, that's okay.
Sure. Yeah, you should be able to.
Okay. Just so folks who are on the Zoom call can see what it looks like. So this is the website. It's militarytributebanners.org. And when you, if you go to the actual main page, there's a pull down list of towns that participate. And on the current programs, you go to New York and select Lewisboro. And that's how you get to our, so the banners will look like this. So if anyone has a relative, a friend, neighbor that you want to sponsor a banner for, it's $150 per banner. And they will be displayed in the Goldens Bridge Shopping Center, Oak Ridge Common in Vista, and Orchard Square in Cross River. The target is to get payments in by October 18th. which it's this weekend, that may be extended a little bit. We're working on that. And the idea is to have these banners on display from Veterans Day through to Thanksgiving. So I think this is a nice project, and I thank Andrew Lucasen, who came in front of the board a couple of meetings ago, to tell us about this project, and it's a great thing. So let's honor our veterans and get as many banners up as possible. And that's all I had.
Tony, do we have to get the permission of the veterans in order to put their names on the banner?
I would think so. I think
so too.
I think people should be consulting with the veteran that they're sponsoring the banner for.
Because the first one that came to my mind, there's a very good chance he will say no.
Okay.
They're just
okay.
So I will find a second one or a third one until I get somebody who says yes.
Well, I have a couple in mind, so let's make sure we're not duplicating efforts. So let me know who your names are.
Yeah, I will, but privately, if you don't mind.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Yeah, yep.
Tony, is there a way to sponsor a veteran even if you don't have somebody to submit for consideration? Or like in the situation you just mentioned with Peter, like if you're both going to submit the same person?
So
to split the cost, or, you know?
No, because what happens is when you go through this website, let me just move this here. Okay, if you go to the form, you have to fill in the specifics of the veteran.
So you're doing the order yourself.
So you're doing the order yourself. You're putting in the veteran's name, their service branch, how many years they served, what war or era or conflict they were involved in.
Okay.
And then you choose your payment type, and you can pay by check, which I think, Peter, you had that question earlier when we spoke. So you can pay by check according to this, and you can pay by credit card as well.
Okay. So presumably people who wanted to split the cost could work that out themselves.
They can,
you know, if they were interested in going that route. Okay.
Yeah. So if you know somebody and maybe you got 3 or 4 people who are willing to donate towards the $150 cost, you can do it that way. Then you just need to get a photo that you then upload, because that photo will get displayed, of course, printed on the banner.
What a nice effort.
Yeah, no, this is great. Great idea.
And if we were to go to the chair, somebody who doesn't have a specific person in mind could, I'm sure, go to the chair of the Veterans Committee,
right,
who probably has a list of veterans in town, which he could share with you.
There you go.
That's correct. John Lemke does have a list. So if anyone is interested in sponsoring any veterans, if you can just pick 1 or 2 from that list. Absolutely. So we're looking for individuals. We're looking for businesses to sponsor as well, to sponsor veterans. So hopefully we'll get as many of these banners up as possible. Yep.
I like this for 2 reasons. One, it's our veterans deserve this kind of support. And secondly, we need to make, I believe, our shopping centers more into town centers to help revive the life of the town as we move forward.
Agreed. Yeah, definitely.
What else, Tony? Anything else?
That's all I had. Thank you very much.
Jen.
Sure. Just going to wait until the screen share ends. Thank you. Parks and Rec has Hocus Pocus, another movie in the park at Onatru, coming up this Saturday at 7. And for every program that, I mentioned is running, please reach out directly to Parks and Rec and call them for more information, or if you're having issues registering. There are still trunk spots available for trunk or treat for the kids. And if you haven't signed up for trick-or-treating spots already, those are going quickly. I think 1 slot is already sold out, so very popular, thanks to Dana and Parks and Rec for putting this together. And the Lions Club is going to be providing free food for this really special event. Saturday, there's also going to be Animal Embassy with Chris Evers coming to Onatru to give a special presentation on not so spooky animals, which is going to begin at 2. It will be outside. It's $8 a person. And the New Neighbor Network will be meeting on October 24th for all new residents who've moved into town. That's from Parks and Rec. And I know Chief Alfano's still on. I know we got a very generous donation from a resident to LPD. I don't know if you want to announce it or you want me to share that information.
Yeah, I can, Jen. Thank you. I just
You're welcome.
Time to thank Adam Rose and Peter McQuillan on a very generous donation of an all-terrain vehicle, which is fully outfitted with lights and siren package. And, you know, obviously we could utilize this in our various parks throughout town if there's a lost hiker or injured hiker, or even community events like the Memorial Day Parade, if we ever get back to that, or the firework display. So again, thank you, Adam and Peter.
Amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Many thanks to them. That's certainly a needed item for the police department. And that's it. That's all I had. Thank you.
Jane?
So I wanted to talk a little bit about a training that I went to this week on an executive order that was handed down, asking towns to come up with contingency and emergency plans for all communicable diseases that we could possibly imagine, not just ones that might spread like COVID. So this seems like quite a big task that they've asked from us, but I did go to this training with Katie Hodges, one of the head lawyers at the Association of Towns, and it sounds, like we'll be able to like creatively navigate our way through this, but we certainly have our work cut out for us with that executive order and those plans that are due on April 1st of 2021. I also just wanted to announce some other maybe more regional community events that are taking place. So SURGE, which stands for Stand Up for Racial Justice, the Westchester chapter, is collaborating with the Katona Village Library, and they're going to be doing 3 Thursday sessions looking at Ibram X. Kendi's book, How to Be an Anti-Racist. These are Thursdays, October 15th, 29th, and 12th, and there's more information both on the Surge website and social media sites, and also at the Katona Village Library. So if you're new to the book, come. If you've been to many of these discussion groups about this book, which I've been to 2 or 3, the discussions are all different. It's different groupings of people. It might be a different period of time, different things come up. So, don't let that stop you. And also, if you feel like you can't get the reading done, don't let that stop you from coming to the event and listening, because you might pick up on some common themes or things you've read other places, or maybe you've heard Ibram speak, and you'll be able to connect that way. So please join Surge and the Katona Village Library. Also, I think it's important to talk about it's voting season. Election day is coming up. You can vote by mail, as we know, but there's also early voting happening from October 24th to November 1st, and our town clerk will have all the information on that. It'll be on our website. So please make a plan to vote, and please do it. And my last thing I wanted to announce was a more local community discussion group, which also started around this same book, the Ibram X. Kendi book, and that's run by Pastor Edelman, Nikki Edelman, who's over at the Stevens United Methodist Church over there by Meadow Pond and by our Parks and Rec. And so she does this group every Tuesday evening at 7. It's about 20 of us. And again, it's all these really rich discussions that kind of started with Ibram X. Kendi's book, but has kind of branched out now into different podcasts and articles. And so if you're interested in that, please join us there as well. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Dan.
Great. That was a lot, Jane. And that seminar you went to, I didn't quite catch it. We have an obligation to deliver a plan under this rule, and so we need some sort of organization to pull that off then. All right. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So that I guess something we need to discuss, and maybe you can share the information you like. Is there links or something to something you can share with us. And we'll,
Sure. So I can also resend you something. Adam sent us the PowerPoint from the session, but so did Katie Hodges. I got the PowerPoint too. So Dan, really before executive session, I'll forward you that PowerPoint. And it kind of goes through all the contingency plans, which kind of helpful for us is that we had a very successful rollout in terms of working from home, essential versus non-essential. So it's going to be a lot about packaging what we already did and then kind of doing our best. But when they talked about the scope of, you have to imagine like all the communicable diseases that have already happened and that could happen, you know, we're getting a little wishful in our visionary thinking, but it's good to be prepared. So I think even if we were just to document kind of what we did, that would help going forward.
have like a template that we can use, or
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Yes, I'm sure that we could
at
get.
least you have to hit these points or something. All right. Well, good. That's probably out there, and I just didn't see it yet. So, by the way, on the racial justice thing, as I was waiting for my meeting in Newcastle, I sat through an hour's presentation from their committee, which has been going for a longer time than most, I think, and they've worked all summer, and they have a big committee divided into different sectors. So I really think they did reports on every sector and how they're interfacing with the schools and, you know, on medical issues and all sorts of things. So it might be worth, you know, anybody who's looking to help us get organized there. I would say watch that session and look at their reports. It was quite.
Was that Newcastle?
Yeah, Newcastle.
I connected with them 3 years ago, like when Barry first started this position, because I wanted to do a committee like that. But I'll be happy to look at that session and reconnect with them.
Yeah, it was just really positive and a lot of good constructive work going on. So I was impressed.
Great.
Besides that, just a reminder that the Westchester Power letters should be showing up the notification letters should be showing up in your box. Don't throw them out. Take a look at it. It's the new contract starts in November. And there'll also be information there about an information session that we're scheduling for the 15th already. So 2 days from now, it'll be, you know, an online information session. If anybody has any questions, a little workshop. And also you can find out more about the community solar opportunities at the same time with that. That's all I got.
Hey Dan, I have a question on the solar farms. What's the latest in terms of the scheduled completion date?
That's a good question. I don't have that at the tip of my knowledge, and there's more than one project, I think. So I'll take that as something that I should report back next session.
Okay.
Dan, can I ask physically where this infrastructure is planned to be?
Yeah, well, they're all in the NYSEG territory, but that extends up, you know, Dutchess and across the river a bit, but they're, you know, within 100 miles or, you know, 50, 100 miles at max.
Is it NYSEG land? They already owned it, or is it municipal land that they bought?
They're all different projects that have their own backgrounds. You know, they're usually private investors that then come together around an opportunity in some location. Then they go to the developers, and the developers, you know, will give them the proposal on you know, how much output they can get, and they put together the entity that owns the thing. So they're all kind of a little different, but then they get funneled up to us as these opportunities for subscriptions.
Okay, thank you.
All right, Dan, yes, I did ask you, right? Did I ask you if you had anything to add?
No, I have nothing more to add. That's it. Thanks.
All right. Amazingly, I have nothing in particular to add to the meeting. So I would like to, if I can find the agenda, to say that our next town board meeting will be not on October 13th.
26th?
October 26th.
October 26th, thanks. Will be on Monday, October 26th, 2020 at 7:30 via remote access. I'd like to make a motion to go into executive session to discuss issues of safety and real estate.
Second.